This is Matthew Troop's Unit 7 3.1 commentary over the remix of Viva, vida by Coldplay as part of the Project 2 of Music Technology Level 3 Year 1. For this remix, I decided to keep quite a lot of the original structural pieces as well as the actual music from the original song, so that I could build up my remix over the top and make it sound almost like a spin-off of the real song, but had enough of a change to it that it would pass off as a remix. So from the start, I used the vocals in the chorus, like here.
Bells are ringing, Roman cavalry choirs are singing.
A lot of these, all of these are sped up. So if I were to go to custom, my very speed was sped up to 138 BPM, so that the original song is actually slower compared to my remix. So that meant that the vocals and the bass and the kick drum, which I all used, as well as the string section, were all sped up slightly faster, so that there was variation and a bit more of a pace to the song. So these were the other instruments that I kept. The bass and the keys are only used during the chorus, so and the kick is used without a lot of effects added in the verse. However, in the chorus, I've added a I am pusher, which has a lot more of a push and a low end to it, as well as an SSL compressor channel and an EQ, which allowed it to transform into this. At the start of the intro, I used a tape delay during the in the vocal part that created this feedback sound, which I'll show you here. So the way I did this was I added a very heavy feedback tape delay with about 3 to 6 milliseconds of delay, and just automated it so that the feedback eventually increased over time. This was great in progressing up to the chorus and into the verse. All of these green parts here were MIDI channels that I added. So I added a grand piano during the chorus. This follows a chord progression of D flat, A flat sus4, A flat, and F minor. The synthesizers here during the intro. Were used from Alchemy, and they had just a single saw effect, but had a filter that increased the cutoff time, so that as the chords were played, you can hear the filter turning off as time progressed, which was really good in using a progressive, receiving progression into the chorus and the verse. I used a couple of pad effects using the Digidux MW sampler preset, which is very good at adding ambience and bulk or body to the verse and chorus. and I doubled up on a lot of different types of bass sounds to make a very heavy low-end synth bass during the verse and the chorus. That was very good at adding some sub frequencies that worked well with the kick to create a heavy bass drop into the chorus. I also, before the first chorus, included a filtered vocals that sounded like this. This was created by using channel EQ and cutting off all of the low-end frequencies and all of the high-end frequencies, only including mid-frequencies, as well as adding a quite heavy overdrive to make it sound like a blown-out speaker. I managed to fade these in with the main vocals here.
I hear cherish.
Although without the effect of the feedbacking tape delay, it sounds quite obvious, but including the tape delay, there was a nice transition between the two filters. The structure of the song follows a intro, verse, chorus, middle eight, verse, chorus, outro. The outro is quite a simple, quite thin ending. It just only includes vocals, a slight bit of bass and kick, and sounds like this.
Once you done, it was never alone. It's word, and that was when I ruled the world.
To end off the song, I separated one kick out at the end, this one here, and added a Space Designer reverb, which was long, so it just rung out and sounded really good. The drums I used during the choruses were sampled and changed using the speed effects so that they were in time, and they sound like this. Including the bass, the kick drum, sorry, it sounded like this. So that was the main drum usage, and during the verses I used a Logic drummer for most of it, using hi-hats like this. And this added some a bit of a speed and a bit of enthusiasm to the verse, so that it was brought up a build up. Overall though, I think I did very well with this track. The chorus has a nice drop to it, and it's got a nice progression all the way through. Here's the chorus. And the verse sounded like this. On my stereo output, I decided to add a couple effects to make the overall listening experience a lot better than it was. I just fine-tuned the volume of my song by deducting a couple of gain decibels, as well as messing around with a tiny bit of compression, as you can see here. So that hit about 4 decibels, allowing most of the song to sound at the same volume. And channel EQ I used to just boost the mid and high end slightly, not too much. And I used a limiter to just make it so that the outputted and exported sound file didn't clip. Thank you for listening, and that's it.